Ladies and gents, welcome back to The Random. It's your host, SmallwoodWorldWide. We're back again with another video. As you can see, we got the Goodman brothers in the house, and it's our Takeoff Sports Talk special. Tonight, Hollywood Nights, baby. We're going to kick the show off tonight by talking about, wait a second, hold up. Shout out to T, Aj, and G. And again, I'm your host, Smallwood Worldwide. Forgive my manners there. I'm a little excited to get into tonight's show. As you know, NFL season has kicked off. Matter of fact, tonight we got the Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. But we're going to start this off with our predictions, a couple of hot takes with the NFL season. And who better to start you off than me? Listen, my predictions for this NFL season, there's more parity than ever before in the NFL. I don't know who's going to win it, to be honest, but I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win the MVP of the league, Lamar Jackson. I think after the beating they took on opening kickoff day, and it was much less a beating in blowout fashion and more of something that's just kind of slowly demoralizing. I think that he's going to come back and have a Superman year. I think he's going to put numbers on the board, and I think he's going to finally look to take the next leap. I'll put an asterisk next to it because we got football Jordan that just seems to be almost unbeatable in that AFC title game. But I think Lamar's the league MVP. I think he's also going to take the step potentially towards the Super Bowl this year. Aj, what you got for us?
Peaches and gravy, Marie. I'm going to go with another hot take as far as what I think is going to happen. Lions going to the Super Bowl. Ooh. The Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl.
How many lifelines do they get? We're going for it on fourth down again.
Yeah, well, I think that they've experienced the worst. I mean, if you look at it last year, they should have gone to the Super Bowl. It took 4 plays that are honestly the only things that could happen to one of 4 franchises, them being one of them. The Jets is also thrown in there. I think you could probably throw the Bengals in there, and old school Tampa Bay, where something like that would happen. But other than that, I think that the Lions are going to go, and it's off of straight moxie. I don't think that they are necessarily more talented than the 49ers or anything like that, or more physical than the Eagles. I just think that they're gonna will their way through, and Detroit Lions are gonna find themselves in a Super Bowl for the first time, and the Motor City is gonna be taking on all comers.
I'm with it.
And two is gonna be strong in the pocket, but I
digress. Yo, T, what you got?
So I got 3 hot takes, and then you said you wanted a Super Bowl prediction as well.
That's it. Let's do it.
All right. So my hot takes, one is just something that I just believe in, always have. One is, probably a huge swing and a miss, but I wanted something hot, so that's what I'm going for. And then the third one's just maybe make you think a little bit, right? Just a little bit. So my first hot take that I believe in, I heard all this chatter about the Falcons in the offseason. My hot take, I don't think they'll be any better than the Raiders. That's what I think.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's obvious.
Hey, man.
They were talking about it. They were talking them up. TJ's not
wrong. They can talk them up all they want. They're bums.
And that's why I believe in it. But it's against the grain as far as what the pundits are saying.
Of course,
I don't believe in them. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, I was saying, of course, I'm agreeing with you. Like they have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. That's a recipe for disaster already. Yeah. Raheem Morris is a great coach, but it was clear he didn't really care for it, but Arthur Blank did. You signed this guy to a contract, and you saw what he looked like in the pocket. Now, the next day, the pundits are like, same ones that told you he was going to light it up, right? Especially these early weeks. He threw 2 interceptions. He gave you the Kirk Cousins experience, and now it's like, his Achilles, he's not fully healed. Right.
I'll tell you what, TJ, you'll be wrong if they figure out that they need to give the ball to Bijan Robinson, but they're not going to figure it out.
He's right there.
Be the Falcons.
They'll figure it out, but they pay Kirk too much money. It's too late. They're done.
They're cooked.
Yep.
I'm with that hot take because I was thinking it.
Yeah, they know how to lose. That's all they know how to do. So they're gonna put their knowledge on display for all. Yeah. All right. The second hot take I got, that's probably a big swing and a miss, but I say Kyler Murray gets into the MVP conversation this year.
I agree with that.
And they actually give it to Brock Purdy. That's what I got there.
Ooh, that's hot. That's spicy.
Yeah.
I didn't do an MVP, but I would say Josh Allen if I went off the thing because they're horny to give it to Josh Allen. But go ahead.
Then my last one is Aaron Rodgers throws more picks than Dak.
Oh yeah,
that is also a good. I like that. Well,
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
I
I
concur.
like that one.
Cool.
I concur. I think that bumps up in the ratings now as far as quarterback ratings. I think he's gonna have a really good year. You know how I feel about Dak Prescott, but I think this year is gonna be a great year for Dak. I think he's gonna be on one.
I think he was good last year, wasn't he? Statistically, he was putting up numbers.
Statistically, yes, but I'm talking about he's gonna bring that spirit where
in the games.
he's gonna make the average novice actually believe, and not just the delusional Cowboy fans. That's what I.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers
I think
retires after this year too.
He needs to. He needs to retire this year.
Yeah. I watched him in the first game. I usually don't say this about players. He looked bad. He looked old. He looked
flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't played.
It looked like he did ayahuasca before their first.
He was on an ancestral plane. Garrett Wilson, is that you?
What?
Yeah.
Another way.
Yeah. That man was out there looking at blue avatars. He was
and realized that, I can't beat the 49ers, not even in another uniform. This is what it is. What else you got for us, T? Did you get you said Kyler Murray for MVP, right?
I said he would be in the conversation. They give it to Brock Purdy. That's my 3 hot takes.
Yeah,
I love it.
Super Bowl pick. I actually got the Chiefs 3-peat, and that's what I hope happens. I'd really love to see that. And I got your Lions in there with them. I got them taking another step and losing to Mahomes. And I think the main reason that they'll end up losing is just, sometimes they make decisions that just don't. It puts them in a position where they just don't score as many points as they probably should have.
300, man. They're not there to go home. They're not going to go home. They're not coming home.
I respect it, but you need every point if you're going against Mahomes.
That's true.
Listen, you saw the kid they gave football Jordan, Xavier from Texas.
Worthy.
Was it McDaniel or something? What's his name? Xavier Worthy.
Oh, Worthy. Yeah, he's
fast, man.
He's fast.
Yo, when I saw him, I was like, man, that guy looks fast. And then I found out who he was. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that was the guy that they let the Chiefs draft. So many teams was just like,
that was a bad idea.
Well, I think that they thought he was
they basically gave him another Tyreek.
I think I think that they thought they were under the impression that he was just what's the thing? A combine.
Yeah.
A combine superstar. But you give
the thing, though,
anybody.
Even with the combine superstar stuff, I mean, if he catches it.
Yeah.
And plus, with him being on the Chiefs, there's so much going on. He's going to be very.
Greg, the first touchdown he scored, it looked like everybody else was in slow motion underwater.
Yeah, it looked like Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl.
And he was going, and I was like, this looks unfair. Am I seeing this correctly? How's it moving so fast? And it was like, touchdown. I was like, oh.
It looked like Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. It looked like you aren't allowed to use him on this game. If we want to make this even.
And that Baltimore defense isn't no slouch either, so that's what was crazy.
Yeah, people want to see how good Baltimore is once they're not playing everyone else but the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Baltimore is there's something to be reckoned with, but the Chiefs just got their number. It's one of those things. Kind of like the Bengals got the Chiefs number when the Bengals are on point, but the Bengals ain't gonna be doing it this year because they're playing too many games. They need to pay that man. Then pay Chase and quit playing around. But anyway, let me get my takes off real quick.
Yes.
All right. Number one take. That's a hot take. Justin Fields, most improved player of the year.
Nope, not me.
Interesting.
On that one, we keep going.
Because I don't think Russell Wilson's gonna be.
Calf muscle, hot, whatever you got going. I think Fields shows.
But I think he's going to be most improved player of the year. Now, MVP, I think somehow, some way, under the tutelage of Coach Harbaugh.
No.
Justin Herbert.
No, that's a hot
take.
take.
Like I said, this is hot takes now. This is hot takes. I think somehow he's going to sneak in there because they're going to have a winning record, and he's going to be doing well.
They might have a winning record because Denver and the Raiders are over there. But
well, they're definitely going to the playoffs with those guys there.
The Raiders said, we don't need a quarterback. Why do we need one of those?
They're gamblers.
Yes, apparently.
It's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas.
Right.
But that there is one of my hot takes. I think he'll be at least in the conversation, and I think under Harbaugh, they're gonna have a great year, and he may sneak into the MVP if they have the year that I think they're gonna have.
But Harbaugh's always won too everywhere, so I wouldn't be shocked.
That's the point I'm making. Harbaugh's a winner. They ain't got shit to do with the rest of them. Harbaugh's a winner.
Yeah.
So if he's a winner and he's got a quarterback, and they already he's up there with Josh Allen and the rest of them. He's one of those dudes that everybody that the analysts want to see succeed.
He took a bunch of his brothers off of people who left the Ravens, all ended up in San Diego. I was like, oh, I see what's going on. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. The former Raven. I was like,
just plucking them.
All right, another hot take. I got Josh, the name is slipping my mind right now, but the quarterback for the Redskins, the new kid,
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, rookie of the year.
Yeah,
he gonna manage to get rookie of the year, I think. And Super Bowl picks, I got the Eagles losing to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs
rematch.
Yeah, and I got the Chiefs making NFL history with a three-peat.
So,
and I can give you a score too.
Oh.
28-24.
Wow.
I'm gonna hold you to that. Hey, listen. Wait, did you call that last time when the Chiefs and the Eagles were in the Super Bowl too? Did you call it that year too?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
he called it last year.
I called it last year.
The Chiefs 49ers.
Mm.
But we can't just remember all of his good takes and not bring up some of his bad. Those are the only ones we got right. I mean, how about that?
Ain't no
bad take. Nah, I think 49ers barely, if they can, make the playoffs, but I do think the Detroit Lions win the NFC. The Eagles, I don't know what they're going to be under Sirianni, and I see Jalen Hurts. He's young, fresh. He's supposed to be faster, look good in that first game. Both teams look decent with that bad field, but he threw an early pick, but he got back in it.
The only threat to the Eagles this year in their conference is Dallas, and I don't think Dallas is gonna have the
Dallas is good.
I think their defense is gonna look like world beaters till around week 8 or 9, and then they're gonna fall right back into what they usually do because it's gonna start to get cold.
They're gonna start to get cold. Go to the Super Bowl too. I mean,
you said what?
So Dallas could go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they have a team.
Nope.
I would be less surprised if Dallas ended up in the Super Bowl than Philadelphia.
I wouldn't. Dallas has got 8-9 weeks of good fight in them.
Yeah, they fall apart in the playoffs.
Once it starts to get cold,
they're gonna go 9-8. You think the Dallas?
No. They're still gonna be able to win games in the winter. It's just they're just gonna start to look like the Cowboys.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Micah Parsons starts looking human.
Yep. And then when they get to the playoffs, you're just gonna see Dak making bad decisions and Ezekiel Elliott getting hurt. And Michael Parsons is gonna not disappear, but he's gonna be getting triple teamed, and then their defense is gonna look real regular, and then it'll be over.
Michael Parsons.
My last hot take, I'll get off here. I don't think Josh Allen lives up to the hype they keep putting out there for him. I think the more that the commentators, the more that the pundits keep putting out, he's an alien. He's doing this. I'm like, man, you guys aren't watching the games. Like when he played, listen, he's an elite runner. He just happens to be big. Until he finds out that, guess what? Defensive linemen are big too. They hit a little different than if he gets to that second tier. And then when you get about week 15, 16, 17, it ain't the same. He was holding the hand, and I think he had to get it iced already after the first game. Yeah. I'm like, you got all those weapons, man. Just throw the ball.
He's a slightly worse version of Cam Newton, but he's white, so they'll give him.
Yeah, they keep putting him over Cam Newton, and I'm like, if Cam had the weapons that Josh had last year and the year before,
yeah, he would have gone to the Super Bowl
and won.
People got to remember Cam Newton started his career looking like C.J. Stroud looked, where he was came out the gate and throwing
monster records.
And you know why he stopped looking like that? Who did they trade?
Steve Smith.
There you go. For no reason.
Well, there was probably a reason. Beating up people in the locker room, I'm sure.
Goodman.
Can't have him out here. Steve had to put his hands on people. You don't want
Did you
just talk
cut
to
me in
Steve.
line today?
You can't talk to Steve any kind of way. Like,
He's wild. He's
put
wild.
you to bed.
I'm sure that they had their reasons.
Like they didn't have any reasons. Wink, wink.
The thing with Josh Allen is, like, real talk, he really is he's a damn good quarterback.
Yeah.
But they keep on trying
He's not as good as they say
to be the best quarterback in the league or the best player in the league, and it's just not. It's not true in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
The fact that Patrick Mahomes has multiple Super Bowls and multiple Super Bowl MVPs, and they keep putting Josh Allen above him, that tells you what it's all about.
It doesn't even make sense. And it'd be different if Mahomes was just a guy just riding the coattails, but he's the catalyst for all these victims. He's the reason this is happening.
I heard something crazy about like Patrick Mahomes. They said like in the last week last year, they said he had texted his family. He's like, I decided that I'm going to win the Super Bowl this year. As opposed to being like, yeah, we're going to, he said, I decided, as if like, you know what?
Yeah, like he made up his mind. I was going to go ahead and win it.
He will do it. You could see it.
Yeah, he did do it last year because they had no business winning like at least 2 of those games.
Yeah.
He said, barring any injuries, Patrick Mahomes has got a legit shot.
He's won with injuries
every single year.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's won with injuries. The only injury he can't sustain is his offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. Barring injuries, like those kind of injuries.
If that entire offensive line was healthy,
not
that
him
year?
physically.
Yeah, I'm about to say because he can do it if he's hurt. I've seen him do it when he was hurt.
Yeah, like if he doesn't lose all of his linemen, like he did that one year against
Brady. Yeah, he lost every lineman that year.
Yeah,
That's
if he
what
doesn't
was
lose
crazy.
all of his linemen, he's got there's almost no reason for him not to make it. And on top of that, the fact that they got the fast guy, what's his name?
Xavier Worthy.
Tyreek Hill?
No, not Tyreek Hill. Well,
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier. The fact that they gave him another weapon, like the weapon he had before, because without Tyreek Hill, they said his numbers went down and he had a bad year, which was still an amazing year because he won the Super Bowl and everything else. But now they've given him a young version of that same player. I don't see how they're not going to go back to the Super Bowl, barring any injury.
If they make the playoffs, it's going to be interesting.
I said, if nobody gets hurt,
right?
It's pretty much over. But the Eagles will be there to lose.
What up, Detroit?
Listen, we'll be keeping an eye on this NFL season, as you know. A lot of hot takes. Drop in the chat some of your hot takes. We look forward to reading them. But now, as you know, with the NFL season and sports equinox happening, we also have this thing called the NBA coming back in October, right? Now, one of my favorite parts of the NBA is the NBA draft. And today, I tasked the fellows with bringing up the greatest NBA draft class, right? And we're going to start with you, T. What is your greatest NBA draft class ever?
Since I get to go first, I guess I can choose the obvious one, right? I can choose 1984. And that's really because of the top class, right? Michael Jordan, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, Otis Thorpe and Sam Perkins, Kevin Willis, Michael Cage, Jerome Kersey, maybe not so great, you know, as far as pantheon of players, but those top 4 that are undeniable. I mean, they're just incredible players. All of them. Hall of Famers, every single one of them, record breaker, some of the greatest of all time. It's hard to argue 84. So
84 is on my list. That's nice. That's a great pick. I felt like it only came down to 2, but I don't want to jump in here because I think Aj might have my list. Aj, who you got?
Well, it'd come down to 3 for me. And 84 was in the 3, but when I stepped back and looked at it, it's 03, man. It's 03.
Oh, you went with 03. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Dark
03.
Yeah. 03.
That's a good pick.
LeBron, Wade, Bosh. I'll just tell you how strong the draft was. And people who remember watching basketball, The last pick in the first round was Luke Walton. Luke Walton could have gone in almost any other year. He probably is a top 10 pick. In almost any other year, he's probably like a top 10 pick. Luke Walton was the last pick in the first round. That's how ridiculous that class was. Now, I'm not gonna say, if no one else mentions the other ones that were on my list, then I will come back around to it. But I'm just
like I said, don't forget, you forgot about Carmelo Anthony too.
Oh, Carmelo Anthony, yeah. Carmelo Anthony was the third pick. Absurd. That changed the whole course of NBA history, but I'm not gonna go here or there. So yeah, I went 03. I'm going 03. That was there was 3 that were up for it. TJ already mentioned one of the 3 that was up for it. 84 was up there. But I went 03.
I love it. G, what you got?
Well, they had the other 2 ones that I picked. The one after that I got to go with was it 97 or is it 96? The one
was 96.
96. Yeah. Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant. I mean, that's really all I got to say right there.
Ray Allen,
Marcus Camby,
them 2 alone.
Marcus Camby.
Oh,
Yep. That was fresh out of Mass. Marcus Camby. Yep.
I meant that in a negative way,
but
man.
Just Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant alone. We're talking about 2 of the greatest killers to ever step on a basketball court.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
Now, everybody talks about the Mamba mentality and everything else. People forget that AI didn't practice and stayed out all night drinking and fornicating and would still put 30 on you.
Giant killer.
Imagine if he had actually practiced. Imagine if he practiced and went to bed.
Bubba Chuck might not have been that good if he practiced.
Yeah.
Bubba Chuck might not have been.
He's one of them dudes like him and Jordan got the same kind of thing going on where come on, man, a good night rest is just gonna ruin them. Like you need
they need a little something extra.
They gotta show up with the red eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Bubba Chuck don't sleep, man. Let him live. Let him live.
But yeah, that's the only real choice that that there could be, like, even in consideration. Now, personally, 84 is probably the greatest class ever.
It's tough.
You can flip flop between 84 and 2003. Like there's too many legendary players, and the only reason that I got to go with 84 over 2003 is because there's 2 players in 84 that could almost lay claim to being the GOAT at their position. Because Hakeem is up there. He's up there in conversation. If you're talking about the best skilled center ever, I mean, there's guys who are more dominant and everything, but who is more skilled at the center position?
Hakeem.
Nobody. Nobody's better than
Mark Eaton would like a word. Damn it. You
like a word from the outside.
What are you talking about? Jeff Malone. What a team. Jeff Malone. Wow. Anyway, go ahead.
And of course, Michael Jordan.
Of course.
Not just the GOAT at his position. He might be, well, I think he's the GOAT, period. Like I said, if anyone else has LeBron James, not mad at it. I completely understand that argument. Not mad at it at all. I mean, you got LeBron James or even Kareem as your GOATs.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I get the argument. But in my book, Michael Jordan's the best ever. The best I've ever seen. Best at his peak. Let's just leave it at that. He's the best peak player I've ever seen.
I'm going to jump in. Everybody's draft class was valid. It was on my bulletin board here for sure. My number 1 was the class of 96, right? And so I just thought with Kobe, with AI, the giant killer, with Marcus Camby, with Steve Nash, Antoine Walker, and I don't think people understand, Antoine Walker, when he first got in the league, was cold.
He was a bucket when he first got in.
Yes, he was. He was. Peja Stojakovic was a bucket with the Sacramento Kings. That should have won a championship. Nah, Peja was cold, man.
Peja was.
It was.
They have a lot of cats in the draft class. Jermaine O'Neal, I mean, Derek Fisher. I mean,
Derek Fisher.
Yeah. Listen. Hey, D Fisher's a glue guy, yo. Hey.
Get that guy. Get Derek Fisher.
On and off the court, but no. he's on a Tony Parker All-Star team, but no.
Get athletic spinner out of here. We're not doing that. Get him out of here.
Oh, Derek Fisher, the king of dirty macking.
That's what I'm about to say.
Derek Fisher.
Wow.
King of dirty macking.
My favorite, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, right? No, you had
Very
Ray
underrated
Allen.
player.
Ray Allen was my guy, and I think what is it? Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Milwaukee Bucks. Ray Allen.
It was crazy.
Cold.
Yes.
I love Ray Allen, but I was mad at Ray Allen for what he did to Georgetown when he beat in the tournament.
Yeah.
They'll never get over that.
That lucky layup.
He run down the court. Yeah.
Hey, he deserved to. I was just mad though. I wanted my boy AI.
I wanted AI to get in there. That was a matchup too. I watched that every now and then.
That was the matchup.
Nah, but I love that. I think that's my favorite in terms of greatest draft class ever. But 84, it's hard to argue against that. It's hard.
Charles Barkley.
It's hard.
Charles Barkley. Ridiculous.
He was overweight and still getting it done and unstoppable.
If we're being honest, and there was a segment of time in the NBA where Charles Barkley was the second best player in the league.
Charles Barkley was what Bo Jackson was on Super Tecmo Bowl for basketball, Tecmo basketball. If you give the ball to Charles Barkley, he's scoring every time. He just runs down the court. And the funny thing is, if you watch his highlights, you're like, yeah, that's
Charles Barkley.
I'll say this.
Charles Barkley was what Zion should be now.
I'll say
What
this.
you about to say, T?
I'll say this about 84. If you took those draft, I guess top draft picks from there, and you made a team out of them, it'd be real hard to beat.
Only 03 could do it. I mean,
Elijah
03.
Would they win it all? If you put them all together, yeah, they would.
Could do it.
Olajuwon, Barkley, Stockton, Jordan.
Yeah, they got nothing for Olajuwon in 03. That's the only thing.
Like I said, that's every other draft. All those other drafts we're talking, they ain't got no smoke.
Space, they got space.
No smoke
spacing
for
out.
Hakeem.
They space.
I mean, bro,
they spaced it out.
D-Wade was 03 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. D-Wade was 03.
Yes, he was.
I don't know. That's I'd pay money to see that one.
LeBron.
I'd pay money to see that one.
What's his name? Melo, D-Wade, LeBron,
Darko Milicic.
Chris Bosh.
Yeah,
Bosh was good.
But there's still no answer for Hakeem. On any of these drafts, there's no answer for Hakeem.
No.
Which means Hakeem's gonna kill everybody.
Well,
he was so versatile, man.
What'd you say, T?
I was just gonna give my other consideration, but go ahead.
No, I didn't have it. I was
go for it.
You. Yeah.
You think about it, the only one that's even got a shot at trying to defend him is Marcus. What's his name? Camby.
Yeah, but
he can be.
He's a supreme shot blocker, but the problem is Hakeem has a bag that's
he's
just
too skilled. Yeah, he would be
Marcus Candy.
Yeah.
Tastes like candy.
And Marcus Camby jumping up and down like this, he wouldn't know what to do.
And he ain't got nothing for him. For a young Hakeem,
nothing.
He got nothing for him.
No, I was watching him.
And that's not even no disrespect to
it was just
Camby. It's just is what it is.
You know what? You can
ain't nobody got nothing for Hakeem.
You can disrespect
and he's crazy
if you want to. That's fine.
Well, you did in real life. So
you started it. I mean,
yeah, well, it was only after.
Started. I mean, what do you want to
do? So what do y'all think about this one? I was also contemplating 87. So 87 had David Robinson, Reggie Miller, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Kevin Johnson, Mark Jackson, Derek McKee, Armin Gilliam, and Muggsy Bogues.
So that's
a cool class.
My thing about that, all those dudes were dope, and they were all like a second tier. They were all second tier guys.
Yeah.
Except for Reggie. Reggie had his own.
Except for Reggie, but even Reggie could never become like first team NBA because he played behind Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Yeah. Plus, Reggie's never. I don't think Reggie's ever been on anybody's top 10 list.
Right.
As far as favorite players, yeah, but as far as
unless you're talking about 3-pointers or something like that,
shooting and 3-pointers,
he's the second best of all time.
But I do have Reggie Miller as the top 5 all-time influential player ever.
I love Reggie Miller. Reggie's cool.
Reggie Miller is he's one of the most influential players that's ever lived.
Now, when
If
they're
it, if
talking
it wasn't
about,
for Steph, he'd be the greatest shooter ever.
yeah, but hey, look,
Ray
this is my
Allen
thing.
gotta
with-
take
with-
that, and
I
Marquis.
think Reggie
But
Miller. I
mean,
think Reggie Miller is a better shooter than Ray Allen, to be honest.
Reggie,
um,
was-
You said what?
When people talk about competitive, though, they bring up Jordan and Kobe. People need to start putting Reggie Miller in that conversation.
Reggie,
oh yeah,
Reggie was way more.
Because I'm telling you right now, during the regular season, maybe not so much, but when playoffs hit,
Playoff Reggie's
Yo.
a thing, yo.
He
Playoff
made
Reggie.
some-
he was locked in.
playoff Reggie, then people think that you seeing something with playoff Jimmy Butler. Playoff Reggie was different. He was a problem. So
That team was well. It took a Jordan to keep them from winning it because Rick Smits, Jalen Rose, what was it, Dale?
Back then, yo.
Yeah.
Jalen
He was still
Rose
Michigan
ball back
Jalen
the
then.
Rose.
Davis guys, right? Both the Davises.
Yeah, the
both
Dale
An-
Davis, that's what I was
Antonio
trying to say.
and,
They had a great
and
team.
Dale.
And
yep, they had a great team, man.
And
But
Dale. And
Yeah.
Chris Mullen. They had Chris Mullen on that team.
Right.
yeah, for a hot second.
That's right. That's
Yeah, He
right.
looked like a Dr.
Oh.
Evil and shit.
Chris Mullen has been on some teams. Yo, that Warriors team back in the day with
Run TMC.
Run
Mullen,
TMC, yeah.
Tim Hardaway, Chris Webber, and
Mitch Richmond. They didn't. No, I'm sorry. I got
no,
the
Mitch
Sacramento.
Richmond was after them.
He's
Was after
Sacramento.
that.
Mm.
on the Kings.
Mitch Richmond used to give Michael Jordan the business.
You know how to get buckets,
You
yo.
know,
Mm.
Mitch Richmond is the '90s Bernard King. Like he was a bucket. Like no one could stop him.
Mitch Richmond
But
is the
nobody
favorite player's
cares.
favorite player. That's what
Nobody
Mitch Richmond.
cares.
Mitch
Nobody
Richmond
cares about him. He's never brought up.
Man, I love Mitch Richmond. Mitch Richmond is your favorite.
He never
player.
averaged less than 20 either, I don't think.
How could he? Like it's
He was-
impossible for him. It's impossible for him to average less than 20. He's like Joe Johnson. It's like, yo, just give him the ball. Just give him the ball. Yeah.
That's what we needed. We need to do a segment for greatest unsung heroes in basketball.
Oh, that's
Done.
Yeah, we got to do that because what's his name? I mean,
Jamal Crawford has got to be mentioned. I'm just gonna say that right
Easy.
now.
the first one that's got to be mentioned is old boy on the Nets back in the day, Petrovic.
Oh yeah, Petrovic was. Yeah.
I talk
Telling
about
you right
Drazen
now.
Petrovic all the time, Greg. Greg, how many times have you heard me say, "Boy, I've been saying it, Miguel. I've been saying it."
Drazen Petrovic, in all honesty, might be the best Euro player to ever come into the NBA. He might be.
He's better than
He just
better than
his
all them
career was short. He messed around and car accident and he's out of here. But people talk about Jokic and Luka, but
Dirk.
Now they forget.
and Dirk, but Petrovic was a problem.
Yeah.
Wait, he didn't get killed, did he?
He died in the car
He
wreck.
died early. He died.
Yeah, he died in the car wreck.
Damn.
But Drazen used to
I don't know
Drazen drop
what
40
year was
on
he in
everybody.
when that happened.
Mm.
Huh?
He was in like his third or fourth year, right?
It was only like his third or fourth year. Because the thing about Drazen was he was playing actually, he got picked up by Portland originally.
Mm.
He was behind Clyde. And Clyde was like, yo, we need to play this dude, man. We have to play him. They were like, no, we can't play him. Because he was like, yo, we got to get rid of him then, man. Because he's too good not to play, is what the people in Portland were saying. So that's how he got moved to the Nets. And then he was setting people on fire, yo. He was
Smoking
Oh,
him.
he did.
Smoking him.
Yeah, he's
So
good.
we gotta do an unsung hero for the NBA's joint, man.
We gotta do that next show for sure.
Yeah,
For
He's
sure.
he's like if you ask me, if you're gonna do an all Euro team, he's starting 2 guard. Easy.
I got somehow I got him. I mean, I got Mark
You
Eaton.
got deadlift?
Huh? What'd you say? So Mark Eaton, and then I got it was like, well, Mark Eaton's not.
The bonus or whatever.
Yeah, Aronis Sabonis was dope.
But he
Deadlift,
ain't
Shrimp,
starting.
that was cat-
Aronis sitting his ass on the bench.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because of
I put him
Jokic.
at PF. No, I can't even put him at PF because Dirk McGurk, yo. Oh, Dirk
Yeah, you
McGurk.
can't. And you know he ain't starting over Jokic.
No.
Yeah, start over Dirk McGurk, yo.
Yeah, Dirk is starting power forward easy. And we're gonna go ahead and put Luka at the point, Drazen at the 2.
Now we want other people to shoot, man.
Take that with you.
Yo,
So take
and at
Luka out of the lineup, yo.
because Petrovic is gonna be at the 3.
Take that with you.
But all the thing is, like, they got 0 defense. They better like the
He's a
Super Bowl.
guard. Was he a
Vladi? Just put Vladi on the team. You know, that'll give you
He
some.
can be on the
Yeah,
team.
D-Box. Yeah.
Yeah, put Vladi on the team, man. That'll give you some defense.
Score be
Vlade-
178 to 185.
Have Vlade at coach.
They're just running
Look
up
like
and
an
down
all-star game, yo.
Them dudes
Let
just
Vlade
running
be
up
the
and down
owner
the
or
court, yo.
something.
Them dudes just running up and down the court. I'll tell you who's not gonna make the team. Rubio punk ass ain't making the team. I'll tell you that.
Rick Rubio. Retire, unretire. Think I retire.
He's
I
only
don't know.
he's only
We got
11
we
at the
got
bank.
to do an episode talking about Euro players, yo.
He's
Got to
only
structure
11
that with the unsung heroes because there's a lot to unpack there.
It's only 11 at the bank.
But yo, listen, these are the folks that you hear right now, right? Greatest draft class. Now, the one thing about sports, if you know anything about it, somebody wins, somebody has to lose. Sometimes people choke. For our last topic of the day, the biggest choke job in sports history. What do you think that is for you? Arch, kick us off.
I will go ahead and kick us off. It does involve kickoffs. When I thought
Especially
about
not that new NFL kickoff, but no, go ahead.
I like that actually. I thought it was. I think
hate
it's very. You don't like it?
Nah,
Pretty
I didn't know what to
and
expect the
stuff.
first time
Huh?
seeing. I'm like, why do
Yo,
you change this?
dudes is returning the ball. dudes is scoring off of that, man. I think it's great. Anyway, when it comes to choking, I tried to think of something that wasn't like a series.
Mm.
You can't choke away a series like the Boston Red Sox came back against the Yankees, but pressure.
Hey, easy. Yeah, no.
Damn, man. I mean, I support the Yankees as well. Anyway, but I was thinking more of like the stakes of it because that wasn't a all or nothing game, right?
Right.
There's some other ones that I think that I would mention, but as far as like them being an all or nothing thing, but I think other people probably will mention it. But the one that stands out to me as being the biggest choke job that I've ever seen has got to be the Atlanta Falcons losing to the New England Patriots. It's got to be.
It's one of the ones I hate the most because I was like, you had this game.
The only game that I saw that had a worse result, had just as bad of a result, if not a worse result, was the Houston Oilers when they lost to the Buffalo Bills. That might have been worse because the backup came in there and did that, but that was not for a Super Bowl. I mean, like, that wasn't for a Super Bowl. I mean, like, it was just it's the biggest choke job I've ever seen. It wasn't like one single play. They just methodically walked them down, and they refused to run the ball, and it's just trash. It's trash. It's trash. Atlanta Falcons, trash. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
When you think of Atlanta, think of Hakeem. Think of trash.
That's it, man. That's it.
Atlanta Falcons. The McDowell's employee of the month.
That's funny.
I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to throw it to T and we'll let Greg take us home, right? So for me, it is exactly that game. I remember where I was at to this day, right? I think I was living in Seattle at the time. Houston Oilers, man. I hated that game. I remember because they were up 35-3 and I was like, you know what? I don't need to finish seeing this game. I'm going outside to play. I come back. Oh, they lost. What do you mean they lost? No, there's no way they lost. And they lost with the backup, Frank Wright. No way. 35-3 with Warren Moon at quarterback.
With Warren
Moon
at
35-3 in the third quarter.
That's
in the third quarter, you're up 35-3. How do you lose? But again, to the point.
With Warren Moon at the quarterback.
It just seemed like coaching malpractice at that point. Play calling somebody. Like, come on. Like, I wasn't even on the team. Houston Oilers is not even my team right now. You know, it never was. But it was like, that hurt me. I was
Antoine,
like,
I didn't know that Kyle Shanahan was that old. I'll put it that way.
You're like, you did it again. It's the origins.
Oh, throw the towel.
Yeah, I can't even watch that game. That's how bad that game is for me. Like, it's one of those games that you watch, you feel it in the pit of your stomach. Like, why didn't you do? Yeah. T, what you got, man? I don't even want to talk no more with that one. Like,
this is the single biggest choke job, right?
Yep.
Well, this was the most memorable choke job that. See, sometimes it's hard to really understand if it's a choke job or if just things aren't going their way. But in this particular one,
I like that.
they got helmets on. when they zoomed in, you could see his face, you could see the panic, you could see the stress, you could see the confidence just go away. And you knew that he was choking this thing away. And you guys know, as soon as I say the first name, you're gonna say, "Oh, I remember that game, Mason Crosby." Don't you remember? 4 missed field goals, 1 missed
Oh,
extra point. It was the single
Yeah, that was bad.
breakdown I've ever seen
That was
on
bad.
any
yeah.
That was bad.
ever. I mean, you could see it. I mean, I actually felt bad for him, and that's how bad it was. You know, and if if it wasn't so pathetic, it would have been comedic. It was just so. I don't think he ever got his confidence back after that. Because how could you? I mean, the whole world's watching you. You got one job to do. You don't have to push anybody out of the way. You don't catch the ball. You don't have to read plays. All you got to do is kick the ball through the uprights.
And that's what you're paid to do.
Yeah.
That's
He
your
does
work.
it all day, every day. And he's fantastic at it. And then just one day he had it. You know, the day before the game he had it, and the day of the game he didn't, and it's just gone forever.
Yo, that actually brings up another one, but I'm not gonna steal Greg's thunder because he might say
No, I'm not gonna say it. What I'm saying is that guy that you're speaking of, I believe he had a sex change and became the chief of police.
What?
Huh? What do you do?
Oh, no. Oh, laces out. So
Yeah.
laces out.
Hey, y'all didn't get that
You
one?
only
Damn.
missed one. I think she only missed one. Or Ray Finkel or Einhorn, whatever.
Einhorn.
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
It was something like that. Oh man.
I can't believe y'all didn't understand what I was saying on that.
That is crazy.
I thought that was pretty obvious.
I was like, what?
Yeah. I got there eventually.
That is
Greg,
crazy.
Greg, who you got? What's your biggest single choke job?
I got a tie.
Oh,
I've got a tie because these two teams should have been cemented in history as the greatest of all times in their sports.
Yep. See where this is
The
going.
Warriors choking out to the Cavs and the Patriots choking out to the Giants.
that second one.
Undefeated season ruined
Mm.
to a team that you should have dog walked. With that mouth breather, Eli Manning at the helm, you lost. You lost.
Eli turns into Peyton in a Super Bowl, yo, and delivers.
Yeah. Which sounds like
breather.
Eli.
Caught him with mouth breathing.
And the Warriors, I mean, come on, man. 70, what was it, 73?
73 and 9.
73-9.
There is no way
Wolves
that you were supposed to lose. And you were up 3-1. I don't know what like mathematically, I don't know what the odds are of you.
It was over like 100, basically.
To be fair, the Thunder were up on the Warriors just a round before 3-1.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But somehow they made it through that. And the Cavs, I mean, Kyrie was Kyrie, but he wasn't, you know.
Oh, he was still Kyrie, though.
He wasn't Steph Curry. Like, he wasn't on that level.
Yeah.
And the rest of the team looked like, come on, man. Steph Curry that year? No, or was it the year before? It was one of those years. Steph Curry might have.
It was that year that he was on.
That was the year he won unanimous MVP.
Bruh, Steph Curry that year had the best, and I'm not bullshitting, the best NBA season I've ever seen any player have in my entire life. Easily. He should have definitely won. That's the first time I've seen anyone get it right. Nobody else should have even come close to that MVP that year. But for them to do that and then go to the finals and lose to the Cavaliers, and they were down by 3 it's almost impossible.
Well, even this is for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nobody got hurt. Like nobody, at least nobody significant got hurt.
No, nobody got
just-
hurt. It was a
just
1-game
choked it away.
suspension.
They just choked it away.
Right.
I have a harder time saying that because I don't know how much of it was a choke. It's not like they missed the last shots all the time. I think they got even, and I mean they fought it out. Their last game, they fought it out.
So it was number one on my list initially, but because of the respect I have for LeBron, I started making it less of a choke job, even though I do think that over the series they were breaking them down, which just kind of constitute a choke. But it wasn't as big of a choke as I think some of the ones that
nobody's saying that LeBron didn't win that series. He played his ass off. Nobody's saying that.
I think that's why I didn't have it. I think that's why I didn't have it though, Greg. To what you just said, yeah.
But I'm saying because of the implications that were behind it.
Oh yeah. What you're saying though, yeah.
That's why the biggest choke job.
You know what I have to bring.
And it's the same thing with the Patriots.
Oh shit, yeah, that one.
I have that as a bigger.
That one's explainable, but I get exactly what you're saying. It's explainable, but I get what you're saying.
I mean, Strahan in that line and Justin Tuck, those boys are cold.
No, but I get what he's saying. That's
I mean,
18-0.
But you also look, think about it. You also had a year where Tom Brady threw like 59 touchdowns or something. He had
Randy Moss.
He's outrageous. It's outrageous.
And to be fair, I wasn't a Patriots fan, but they had Teddy Bruschi. Yeah. They had a bunch of dudes in that defense that were really, really good. Like I didn't expect the Giants to actually be in the game.
No, and not at all. Because Eli Manning, I think he led the league in that year. Don't know what to do. That's what he led the league in that. That defense carried them the entire way.
He said, "Like, man, I'm scared."
Yo, he led the league in throws. That's what he led. He had the most throws per game.
To what TJ was saying, thinking about a field goal where someone choked it away. Gary Anderson for the Vikings against the Falcons. He made me remember that. That was bad. Because I'll tell you what made that a choke job. He hadn't missed a field goal the entire year. Like the entire year. He didn't miss a field goal. He didn't miss a field goal. Not an extra point. I think he was even doing punts at one point. Look, right, doing taxes. It was just unbelievable.
Nah, yo, Scott Norwood, wide right. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. It was a chip shot too.
Yeah,
I said, and I felt like Buffalo. No, and the Super that it wasn't no 60-yarder right there, right?
But it was like 30.
It was
40 something. No, it was 47 yards. It was like
47. 37.
I thought it was
No, it was 47 because he was on the 37.
It's like 47 yards. It wasn't a chip shot, but it was makeable.
For all the marbles, it was absolutely makeable.
It was 47. I don't know why I thought it was like a 27-yard field goal. I was like, yo, this is like
because of the legend of because everybody said he should have made it, but Buffalo has been the same.
Let's be honest.
Those are rough ones, but the crossbar, Crosby, excuse me. You can
Crosby joining his
you can just see it. You can just see it leaving. You can just see him.
The 47-yard field goal is like the second shot in Around the World where you're just like, yo, should I bank this? I just try to make this straight up, and you miss it. Like, oh shit, well, I'm gonna just chance it. I mean, how I couldn't possibly miss it. Oh shit.
That's a great comparison, man.
That's what the 47-yard field goal is. Like,
that's great. I haven't heard that in so long. Chance.
Like I'll just chance it. I mean, like just oh shit. Like
the only other person I had on the list was from baseball, and it used to just piss me off like none other. Clayton Kershaw. He go from giving up no runs to giving up every run.
He said Clayton Kershaw and not
the team. He just not the team, just Clayton.
Clayton Kershaw.
Just
the other one I had honorable mention because I didn't know if we were talking about team sports, that's why I didn't bring it up. But Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas.
Oh yeah,
I thought about that one too.
That's a top 5 one for me.
I thought about that.
Actually,
and the other reason why I didn't put it on there too is because we all know the reason why.
Why?
Mike The night before, he was hanging out with Bobby Brown. So like that's not even a joke. So like
Is it
7 in the morning.
really?
I know he was partying, man.
You
Like,
guys consider
he was
that a
doing
choke
too-
job?
He
Being
said what?
unprepared? Do you guys consider that being a choke job? It seems like he was just unprepared.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Mm.
Like
I think it was.
That's a
it's
good
crazy
point.
because he lost.
That's a great
but
point.
he was
I think
literally out till
Technically, he still should
7
have
o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, he still should.
Bobby Brown.
I
And
think
Bobby
it was a
Brown was
choke.
like, this is how wild Mike
That's
was going.
unbelievable.
The sensible one out of those two was Bobby Brown. Because Bobby Brown was like, Mike,
And
Mike,
every
don't you
little
got to fight
step I
tomorrow?
take.
And Mike was like, I'm gonna apply. It's my prerogative.
Oh man. But Buster did get the Tyson Fury count, man.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
Yes, he
God.
did. Yes, he
Yeah, he
did.
did get the Tyson Fury.
Even with Mike Tyson not really preparing for the fight, he still put a, like
7,
I actually had
5. Like,
Greg
what?
Norman potentially when he blew that 6-shot lead at the Masters or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
James
Ooh.
Harden, when he set a record for turnovers.
You said James Harden?
Yeah, when he set a record for turnovers against the Warriors that time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember they went
how many
7 for
three-pointers did they
27 or
miss? They missed
something.
like 25 3-pointers in a row or something like that.
27
Yeah,
of them.
Yeah, they missed
27. That's right.
27.
Horrific.
Ooh. Another one that I was gonna say too, but the reason I didn't because the stakes weren't high. The New York Knicks against the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When they let Reggie Miller score 8 points with 13 seconds left. Boy, oh boy.
He took that.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I said. He snatched it. Like, look, they replaced the jerseys that were hanging from the Raptors with nooses. They hung themselves that day.
Yo.
It was horrible.
That was amazing.
I was like, yo, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's to this day, it's the greatest live sports event that I've ever seen in my life.
Like collapse.
I've never been more excited about something sports-wise watching it than that. I was flabbergasted. I was amazed.
Yeah.
And I've
one.
always been a fan of Reggie Miller, but at that point right there, I was like, oh, he might be my favorite player in the league right now, like forever.
Yeah.
Like he might
that was
be,
a super villain move, yo.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
it might be like, we know Mike's the best, but Reggie, he's my favorite. Like it was like that.
Him doing this is what
Yo, that
I loved it.
So-
That's missing from today's game, yo.
Oh,
I bet you had
so
more of that going.
cold.
bruh.
So cold.
Whenever he did something, when he would run back and then they're staring Spike Lee, like I was like, yo, Spike Lee is the bane of all ass whoopings in New York. Like, he's the reason that Scottie Pippen dunked on Patrick Ewing so hard. He's the reason Reggie
Yo, that was a
Miller
cold dunk.
went off
You're super
in the
fan.
Garden. Like Spike Lee is like they need to get him out the stadium.
But he's not the reason John Starks
just
missed all them shots against Houston. I mean,
He's
how
not.
about that?
He's not.
Fair enough.
Yo, my other big choke job. Tell me what y'all think about this. I didn't want to mention it because I couldn't remember how much of it the people got to see, but I wish it was on like at halftime of the Super Bowl or something, which they should consider. Donovan Bailey and Michael Johnson. I thought Michael Johnson choked big time in that because I actually thought because of his consistency, he had a chance to win. It was 150. Huh?
Donovan Bailey was the one
Canadian sprinter. Yeah, he
right,
did the 100.
right, and he didn't qualify for the Olympics. Talking about the guy who didn't qualify for the Olympics.
No, Donovan Bailey was an Olympic champion, I believe. Yeah.
Was that Dan? Am I thinking about another guy, Dan
No,
O'Brien?
you're thinking about the Dan and Dave or whatever.
The guy who didn't qualify. I actually thought about him, but keep going, Antoine. I'm sorry.
That's not
Yeah,
even
so Michael Johnson.
he has been. He's a never was.
Well, he got back. He got back the next Olympics and I think won, but he missed it.
Yeah, it's he got the Athu Ming treatment this year, yo, because Athu Ming was great, and then just one elbow later didn't get there because of some track rules. But my point being is that Donovan Bailey, 100-meter champion, Michael Johnson, obviously 4 and 200 meters, and so they agreed on 150. The heart of sports, at the end of the day, I like competitiveness. I like people. You're supposed to rationally think you're the absolute best, and you're supposed to think you're the best, and you should step up. It's too much, and I don't want to say fake humbleness, but a lot of times the guys, they're like, oh, no, that's my buddy. Oh, yeah, he's okay. He's cool. No, these guys wanted to beat each other. almost to the point it felt like a big fight field. And they get out to the track. In the first couple of meters, again, Michael Johnson's not a slow starter, but Donovan Bailey, I don't know what he was on for this race.
On everything.
Michael Johnson, pretty much. Michael Johnson knew he wasn't winning that race, and then like a quarter of the way through, he just started pulling up. I'm like, nah, you can't do that. You gotta take the ass whooping.
Smart move.
Yeah,
I like that.
He was like, he can never say he officially beat me. Basically, was the thing, and I was like, come on, man.
He won, but did he?
He said, my hammer.
Yeah. 2 days later, you walking regular, like, oh, everything good.
2 days later,
so
he out there warming up.
He chasing down the ice cream truck and shit. It's like, dog, you should have ran a race.
My favorite choke job was Latrell Sprewell.
It's over, man. Yo, call
greatest choke of all time.
Call the show, man.
That was the greatest choke I've
Call
ever
the show. Yo, call the show. Let me out the car, though.
He did what
What was
Russell
that
Wilson
coach's
should have did to
name?
Sean Payton last year, yo.
What was the coach?
PJ Carlesimo.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best choke ever in history. Boy, oh boy, Latrell. Hey, look, some people you can't talk to anyway, bro. That's all I'm saying. Some people you might want to watch.
You better know what you're saying.
You might want to watch your mouth.
Listen,
Yeah.
this has been an epic episode, as you can tell. Shout out to Aj, T, and Greg. I'm your host, Smallwood Worldwide. This was your Hollywood Nights, where anything can happen from choke jobs to hot takes. And listen, if you're looking for another choke job, apparently there's work for you on Club Shay Shay. Until then, we'll see you again on the next edition of The Random. Peace.
What's the 9?